Oh my gosh, y'all. There are so many rumors going around right now about Morphe closing, and it is driving me absolutely bonkers because there is so much misinformation happening. I did all of the research and looked it all up and found out what is actually true and what is just people speculating and or spinning things in a direction that's actually not real. Hello, my friend. Welcome back to What's Up in Makeup, where we talk about everything that is happening in the beauty space, news-wise, this week. Now, because I took 2 weeks off for the holiday, it is a very, very large show. So today we're focusing on top news, and then in a couple of days, I'll have the product report for you. So, speaking of top news, oh my goodness, did hit the fan this past week. Beyond the Morphe story, we have StickerGate from Pat McGrath. Oh my gosh, are people freaking out over the new Pat McGrath Star Wars launch and feeling like they've been deceived by the brand, this luxury price point? People are pissed. We're gonna talk about that. And even beyond that, there is so much more to talk about. We have a talc asbestos lawsuit that was lost by a huge company. We have a bunch of business news with different brands, whether they're doing well, doing poorly. And then we have something weird happening in the vitamin space that is just so gimmicky. And it's making me so mad. And I have to share it with you. So hang tight. We are jumping into that right now. Dude, this Morphe business, oh my gosh. We have known here, all of us in the What's Up in Makeup corner of the internet, that Morphe and their parent company Forma Brands have not been doing well. But if you are not and have not been in our little space, I will give you the quick summary of what's been going on with Morphe over the past year or so. So it started off with them not paying rent. Back in March, the owners of Arden Fair Mall in Sacramento, California, sued Morphe for unpaid rent. Documents included in the lawsuit said that the mall deferred their rent obligations twice during the pandemic, but by the end of September of 2021, Morphe owed over $316,000 in back rent to the mall. And it did look like they paid that bill. They paid it, but then they stopped paying in January of 2022. And the mall was like, F this, we are done. We are tired of this and we are going to sue you. We're tired of you not paying rent. So at the time, they owed about $87,000 in rent. It does look like it was settled back in April, but this was kind of our first sign in 2022 that things were not going well for Morphe. 2 months later, we dove deep into the class action lawsuit against Morphe for their inherently dangerous pigments. What it comes down to with that is that there are specific pigments, usually red pigments, that are included in eyeshadows that are not FDA approved for eye use. They are approved in the European Union. They're approved lots of places around the world. They just haven't been approved by the FDA, who doesn't really up their approvals of things very often. So there are quite a few companies that either have been sued or are currently being sued for using these pigments when they haven't been approved by the FDA for eye use, including their marketing showing them on the eyes and everything when they haven't been approved. The plaintiffs in that case are seeking damages that exceed $5 million, injunctive relief, and certification of their class action to enable as many as tens of thousands of other people who have been damaged to join the lawsuit. And then in early December, they got another lawsuit. And this was by a woman who had started a company called Playa Hair Care. Now, Forma Brands had acquired Playa Hair Care, I think it was in 2021. And what the owner, her name is Shelby Wild, is filing a suit against Forma for is basically that they didn't support her brand after the acquisition, that they didn't really pay attention to it, and that they didn't, incubate it like they said they were going to incubate it. And she is asking for $15 million in damages for not supporting her brand. And then the drama happened this past week. Oh my gosh, if you were on TikTok and you were in the beauty space, you probably saw this. Tons of Morphe employees going on TikTok being like, I showed up for work today and my store's closed.
What it's like working for Morphe right now.
going on?
The shelves are empty. This is a problem. Managers of the store are coming and speaking out about how they just found out that their store is closing and they won't have a job. And this happened over the Christmas holiday.
But that store is my store. I'm the store manager of that specific Morphe. Morphe has been closing retail stores for like at least a year now. Hush hush, real quiet. They're telling everyone that it's due to like lease stuff. Anyway, so like I said, I'm the store manager of one of those Morphes. Tomorrow's actually my last day. We're packing up the store. They told us on the 22nd of December that our last day of business is the 26th of December, which is today. And then tomorrow we're just packing up the store and we don't have a job anymore.
There were also a bunch of videos of people shopping at Morphe during this time period with sales up to 95% off. I saw somebody that had like 5 setting sprays because they said something like the Morphe setting sprays are like $17 each, but they paid like 80 cents for them because everything was on such a deep discount. Like they're just trying to get something for them to clear out their inventory in the stores before they're permanently closed. Now, people were speculating like what is going on. Morphe's still posting on Instagram, but they're not saying anything about these deep discounts, about the stores closing. Nothing is happening. And then finally on Thursday, Morphe put out a tweet explaining, well, kind of explaining what's happening with the stores. They said, we have made the difficult decision to close all Morphe stores in the US and that customers can continue to shop Morphe online and at select retailers. Morphe stores outside the US will remain open. I think they have some in Australia and the UK, and I think there's one in the Netherlands, that those will remain open. Every single article that I read about this said, we've reached out to Morphe for a statement and they haven't replied, or we reached out to Forma Brands and they haven't replied, except for one, and this is the one. It's from the website called Glossy, and the company spokesperson said this: following careful evaluation of all aspects of our business, we have made the strategic decision to enhance our focus on the company's wholesale and e-commerce operations going forward. We believe this shift will position Morphe to better compete in the broader beauty landscape and more efficiently reach our customers where and how they shop. Connecting with consumers around the world through beauty stands at the center of everything we do. And while we have loved welcoming customers into our stores, we look forward to focusing on the foundational areas of our business, including our wholesale partnerships, robust e-commerce footprint, and innovative brand marketing strategy. So for perspective, if you are relatively new to the beauty space, about the behemoth that Morphe was, a majority stake of Morphe was bought by a company called General Atlantic back in 2019. Morphe was said to be doing $500 million in sales annually and was valued at $2.2 billion. And now this is happening. So this is where we get to reality. What is really happening? Because I am like, my mind is blown at the number of posts I've seen, the number of videos I've seen posted, TikToks and Instagram, that Morphe is closing. Morphe is not closing. Not anything that I have seen has said that Morphe is closing. They are going to stay open outside of the US. Their website is going to stay open. All of that is open. All they're doing is closing their brick and mortar stores. And it's important to remember that other companies have done this in the past and then resurrected themselves. And the best example I can think of that did that is e.l.f. Cosmetics. e.l.f. Cosmetics used to have brick and mortar stores. They closed those to focus on e-commerce. And now e.l.f. is freaking crushing it. Another one that I can think of is NYX. I think why people are jumping the gun and saying that Morphe is closing is because of the whole considering Chapter 11 bankruptcy article that came out in October that we talked about. According to people familiar with the process, they were very clear that it was an option and that nothing was certain. The company was rumored to be in debt of $600 to $700 million, but they didn't declare bankruptcy. They were just considering it. So therefore, They are not going out of business. Oh my gosh, the misinformation is driving me bonkers. But now, because you watch What's Up in Makeup, now you know the truth about what is happening. According to that same glossy article that is going to be linked below, along with all of my other reference articles, the Business of Fashion had reported that Morphe was working on a skincare line. And this is I'd heard of that, but I didn't hear about this, that they were also working on a makeup line with Demi Lovato. So we don't know whether these lines will come to fruition where, it's possible that they'll just ditch them at this point, but it is possible that they are still coming. So do not put the nail in the coffin for Morphe yet, even though I know a lot of people are kind of, they're getting what they deserve because of all of the things that have happened in the past with the company. Like, I get it, but they're not dead yet, man. They're not dead yet. So now we have the great StickerGate of December of 2022. Oh my gosh. Okay, so this is where it stems from, is that when people buy a luxury product, an eyeshadow palette well over $100, you expect a level of luxury not just in the performance of the product, but also in the packaging, because that's really a lot of what you're paying for is the packaging when you buy luxury makeup. You're also paying for the brand name. All of that, along with the quality, hopefully is good within the package. On the last episode of What's Up in Makeup in mid-December, we talked about the new Pat McGrath Star Wars collection. It's their second collab with Star Wars that was coming out, and I talked about how I thought it was real pretty. I like the artwork, but I'm not a Star Wars fan, so I don't, there's only so much I can say. But for the record, I thought that it looked super cool. But what we didn't know at the time was, unlike launches like the Divine Rose collection, the packaging was just a sticker on top of their regular packaging. There was no actual change in the component. All they did was take a regular Pat McGrath palette and then slap a sticker on top of it. This was exposed by Monica Bell Makeup on Instagram. She did share a video of her peeling the sticker back. The other person that I noticed was a Twitch streamer named Meg Turney, and she posted pictures not just of the Pat McGrath palette with the sticker being crooked, but also some of the other products in the collection where the Star Wars sticker was just it looked like it was haphazardly put on there, kind of like when you were a kid and you got a board game and it came with a sheet of stickers and you had to put the stickers on the little pieces or whatever, but you're just a kid, so you kind of put them on a little crooked and you look at it 10 years later and you're like, that is not put on well. But it happened at a luxury beauty brand. I don't buy or keep up with every single Pat McGrath launch. What I did not know is that this particular Mothership palette was the Mothership 6 palette. This was launched back in 2019 in September. And all it looks like they did was that they took the palettes from 2019. It looks like they took the palettes from 2019 and then they just put the sticker on top of it. Now, I did watch a video that was very enlightening, and it was from a channel called I Am Jamila, and I will link it down below for you. And her perspective was from that of a huge Pat McGrath fan that owned a lot of Pat McGrath products, keeps up with what's going on her website, all of that. So I found it very informative. So what she said was that before the Star Wars launch, that the original Mothership 6 palette was on sale for 40% off and was even on sale when the Star Wars collection launched. So essentially what she was saying is that if you didn't want the sticker, you could pay $51 less for the exact same eyeshadow palette. She also made the point that I did not know, and I, haven't confirmed beyond her video, is that she said that this particular Pat McGrath eyeshadow palette didn't have the best reviews across the internets, and that maybe she speculated that it didn't sell well, and they were trying to think of a way to get rid of these excess palettes, and they're like, hey, why don't we just make it part of the Star Wars launch? All we gotta do is slap a sticker on top of the palette, and we can sell these palettes that didn't sell. I did go to the Pat McGrath website to see if the Mothership 6 palette was still on sale. It was not. It actually was listed as sold out, and then I went over to Sephora's website and it was listed for the regular $128. So I can totally see why Pat McGrath fans feel betrayed by this. And I get it. I mean, I feel like, as a business owner, I can kind of see if they were trying to sell these palettes that didn't sell, it's kind of smart marketing, from a a business perspective to get rid of this excess product that is just sitting there in order to maximize profits, because they are a business. It's not about the feelings, it's about the business. And when you got excess product, you want to get rid of it somehow. And that makes sense to me from a business perspective. But I definitely get the consumer perspective in that you're paying $128 for an eyeshadow palette and you think that it's going to be something special, and then you realize it's just repackaged unsold stuff. That's very disappointing. So I would love to know what you think down below. Do you understand kind of where Pat McGrath is coming from if they did repackage these unsold palettes with a sticker? Or are you more on Jamila's side where you just feel like this is ridiculous and that they should know better and do better and that they just don't care about their customers? I would love to know your thoughts down in the comments. All right, are you ready for this one? This is the talc lawsuit. And if you aren't familiar with talc lawsuits, Johnson & Johnson's been going through a ton of them for their baby powder, saying that the talc that is in their products was contaminated with asbestos and caused mesothelioma. Now this is hitting makeup products. So this is Avon, and Avon right before the holidays went to court, and in this California court they found that Avon Products Inc. should pay $10.3 million in punitive damages to a 76-year-old woman who blames her cancer on talc in Avon's cosmetics. The woman who sued, her name is Rita Chapman, and she is a resident of Scottsdale, Arizona, and she was diagnosed with mesothelioma back in 2021. According to the court filing, she used some Avon powders that had high levels of asbestos. Evidence in the case showed the company was seeking to sell out of the stocks of those powders during the time Rita used them, and they're putting two and two together and saying, well, they're trying to sell out of them because they knew that they were contaminated and didn't want to sell them anymore, so they just sold them knowingly, knowing that they were contaminated with asbestos. That's what the court lawsuit is saying. Now, this is the thing, is that the Los Angeles Superior Court had already awarded Rita $40 million in actual damages, so that brought the total of the damages she was getting to about $50 million. And as I'm reading about this, I'm thinking, how did they arrive at this big number? Like, where did they get this number from? And this is where they got it from. In awarding punitive damages, the jury was asked by Rita's lawyers to, quote, find a number that meant something to Avon. So the jury was just basically trying to stick it to Avon and say, you know what, you knew this stuff was dangerous, you sold it anyway, now Rita has cancer, and now you're going to pay for it in a very painful way. Avon, of course, has a statement to go along with it. In response to the loss, in a formal statement by Avon, they said, we are disappointed by this verdict and we will vigorously pursue all available avenues to appeal. And Avon is confident that it has strong grounds for appeal and will continue to defend its position. And that made me wonder, what are their strong grounds for appeal? And they actually, in my opinion, do have strong grounds for appeal because of this. According to an article on asbestos.com that's run by the Mesothelioma Center, Rita had another way that she could have had asbestos exposure, and it was through her husband Gary's work clothes, because Gary worked for a forklift construction company, and what they do at these forklift construction companies is they use asbestos purposely. They use it to strengthen the parts of the vehicles. So he was working with clutches, gaskets, and brakes made with asbestos. How this applies to Rita is that she was in charge of doing his laundry all of the years that he worked at this company. And that asbestos is very, very, very tiny. And when you're, taking the laundry out and you're, shaking it and you're putting it into the washing machine, those asbestos fibers can possibly go into the air and be inhaled. And that could be how Rita got mesothelioma, from those clothing items, not from the makeup. But this is weird. I'm assuming this was presented to the court because the court documents say specifically that they concluded that Avon was responsible for 90% of Rita's cancer, and I'm wondering how they figured that out. The other hole in this is they never mention what product it was from Avon that she was using. They also never say that the product that she was using was tested for asbestos contamination. I'm wondering wondering where the proof is here. Where is the proof that this Avon product that she was using was contaminated? It's not listed in any of the documents. That doesn't mean that it doesn't exist, but you would think it would be in here that they tested this specific product and found that it had asbestos in it. But no, it's nowhere in there. So I just don't get it. This is not the first talc lawsuit that Avon has fought. Apparently, since 2020, they have had nearly 130 talc-based lawsuits. And because of that, they actually removed talc from all of their products. Most of their products are now marketed outside of the US, but it's huge in some countries. They still said that their talc was fine and it wasn't contaminated, and there's no like digital evidence that I could find that any of their talc-based products were contaminated with asbestos. But I think it was one of those like, we're tired of these lawsuits, so we're just going to take it out because it's just not freaking worth it. But yeah, I feel like there's so much missing from here. There's so much missing from this lawsuit that I'm wondering if Avon is going to fight this and win, because I see holes. I see a lot of holes. All right, I have 3 more stories for you, but I want to take a little bit of a break and do PR purchase product of the week, because I have to say something that y'all are probably already thinking. My hair is different. I got my hair dyed and I love it. I love it so much. I was getting just tired of my gray hair. I just was bored with it. I've been growing out my natural hair color for the past 3.5 years and I was just done with it. I just wanted to do something different. If you followed my channel before that, I often changed my hair. At one point, I had red at the bottom, I had blonde, I had all kinds of blonde at the bottom, not all over my head. But I have had different hair colors over the years. I've had my hair much lighter than this, and I just wanted to do something different. And it's not because I thought my grays were in any way ugly. It's not because I thought that they should be covered for any reason. I was genuinely just wanting something different with my head. And yeah, so my hair, even though it grows out of my head, was purchased. I also want to talk a little bit about some of the products that I'm wearing on my face today that I'm trying out. So I got a PR package from Essence. They have a new foundation called the Keep Me Covered Long Lasting Foundation. This one is in the shade Cool Beige. I do feel like it is a bit yellow for me. They did send me 2 other shades, but they looked like they were too light. So I'm going to have to play with them a little bit. Application so far, it was really streaky to go on, but once I put it on, I feel like it looked really pretty, but I think the color match being a little bit off for me is throwing me off. So I'm going to keep playing with that. What I liked better that they sent from the jump was this Keep Me Covered concealer. Well, let me show you these concealer shades, because don't they all look the freaking same? Like, what is even happening? How are these different shades? I have no idea. Because I got 10 pale, 20 fair, and 30 alabaster, I ended up choosing 30 because I figured that was probably the deepest one, but like, how are these different colors? I don't know. But anyway, so far, really liking the concealer. Blended out beautifully, covered up my dark circles, just did a really nice job brightening my under eyes, and of course, like the brightening that I like to do all over my face. On my eyes today, PR from ColourPop, the Petals and Point palette. I pretty much have the whole palette all over my eyes. It is gorgeous and so fun. On my lips today, Kaleidos was kind enough to send over their 2 new lip sets in this box here. This is the one, the box that I got my lip color out of. This is in the shade Eco Valley. It is moussey to go on, but also dries down to be a little bit on the dry side, but not terribly uncomfortable. And then the last thing I wanted to show you was, this is really funny because I was having a conversation with Angie Newqvist and Tina, I think it was Tina from the Fancy Face, and a few other people over on Twitter about Benefit, and I was mentioning, got hair on my face. I was mentioning how a few years ago, I was getting the same Benefit brow pencil over and over and over again. And I mentioned in a video, like, what is going on with Benefit's PR that I'm getting the same brow pencil over and over again. And then they sent me another PR thing. Then they were like, here are some other things. And then they never sent me anything ever again. And it was super weird. It was like, okay, I guess they did not like my criticism. Okay. But what's weird is that a couple days ago, I got a Benefit PR package for the first time in years. They sent over their new Fluff Up Brow Wax. First time I used this, did absolutely nothing. This time, it feels like it's actually working. It's definitely not crunchy, but I will have to let you know whether it holds my brows in place all day like it claims to. This is the wand on it. It is white to go on, but as you brush it through, it becomes clear. So I will keep you posted on all of these things that recently came into my life. And now let us go back to the news. Of course, we have to have a Revlon update because we haven't talked about what's going on with that company for a while. If you do not know, they had declared bankruptcy. They're trying to get someone to buy the brand. It's just going really, really badly. And we talked about how important it was for holiday of 2022 that Revlon did very well. Now, we don't know the numbers about that, but we do know there has been some progress as far as getting Revlon out of bankruptcy. This is what happened. This is very, very bad news to anybody who bought stock in Revlon, especially when people saw it like really, really low and they're like, well, buy low. And then, you know, when Revlon recovers, then I'll make a ton of money. This is not looking good for those people. So they did reach a restructuring agreement, which would turn over ownership of the company to its lenders. So this would keep the brand alive. But what it would also do is it would completely get rid of every single shareholder. It would also eliminate Ron Perelman from being a part of the brand. He purchased the company back in 1985. It would also hurt Ron's daughter, Deborah, who is the current CEO and president of Revlon. Her contract would be honored, but she also has a structured severance package now that exists. Court approval for the plan is set for April 3rd, which would allow the company to exit bankruptcy on April 17th. So according to the company's third quarter 2022 earnings in November, net sales were $468.4 million. That is a decrease of about 10% year over year. So as of November, they were doing very, very badly. We don't know the numbers for what happened with holiday yet, but I'm assuming those are going to come out in the next couple of months, and we will see what happens with Revlon. But yeah, I'm actually kind of curious what Deborah's severance package looks like. I bet it is massive. Another brand not doing very well is Beauty Bay. Beauty Bay crushed it when people were locked in their houses due to the pandemic because online sales were booming. Now that people are returning to stores to swatch and hold and figure out what they want to buy in person, Beauty Bay's sales have plummeted more than 40 million pounds in 2022. Profits have also decreased 54% to about 13 million pounds compared to about 28 million pounds in 2021 and 16 million pounds in 2020. When they were growing, Beauty Bay was talking about becoming a publicly traded company, but it looks like that is 100% out at this point. So my question to you is, have you ever shopped at Beauty Bay? Or do you still shop there? Are you going to keep shopping there? What are your thoughts on the company? I don't think I've ever ordered anything from there, so I don't have like a solid opinion about whether it's good or not, or what, you know, what the shopping experience is like, but I would love to know your thoughts down below so that I can learn from you. And for the last story, this one is so like, I just really want to share this with you. So do you take vitamins? Do you take a multivitamin? Do you take like some kind of supplements? If you do, are they the solid pill kind or are they the gummy kind? It seems like gummy vitamins in the store are there's like more options of those than there are the standard pill ones. And I think this is because, you know, the Flintstone vitamin kids grew up. I was a Flintstone vitamin kid. I don't know if you were. But we decided when we were children that we really liked this whole chewable vitamin idea. And now that we're adults, we're like, I want a chewable vitamin as an adult too. And that's kind of I feel like where gummy vitamins have really gotten a very big market. So no questions there. But this is the thing. Neutrogena is coming out with a 3D printed gummy vitamin. You heard me right. It is a 3D printed gummy vitamin. They've partnered with a company called Nourished for a product called Skin Stacks. It says with 7 layers of ingredients to help power up skin vitals. And wait for this. This is how it works. So what you do is you upload a picture of yourself to their website. Their skin assessment system uses more than, they say, 1,000 skin pixels to analyze over 2,000 facial attributes. You type in your needs and your goals for your skin into the system, and then the data is used to identify and recommend a nutrient stack and topical routine for the individual user. But here's the kicker, and where they lose me, there's 5 specific formulas. Like, it's not like it's individualizing the formula based on the algorithm or whatever. There's 5 categories. You have ageless, clear, hydrate, glow, or resilient. So after you go through that whole process, you get redirected to the purchase page, and the thing you can customize is your flavor. So how much does this whole process cost, you may ask? A 28-day supply is $49.99, and they say it will arrive within 2 weeks of ordering. The gummies are vegan, sugar-free, and come in plastic-free packaging. And I'm sitting here like, why are we going through this whole uploading the picture and analyzing the skin and all this stuff if it's not even individualized? You get stuck into 5 very different categories. Like, oh my gosh, this is so stupid. The thing that pisses me off so much about this is this could have been so freaking cool. Like, if they had each layer was like a different ingredient and then like legit customized it for you, like that would have been so cool. But instead they're marketing like it's a straight up gimmick where they are marketing as we are customizing this for you, and they're making customers jump through all of these hoops for no reason. It's almost like it's like a game. Like you play this game in order to land on this page that tells you what you already know, like a Cosmo quiz or something. So yeah, so when you see that and you see the marketing for it, just know that it's not. I mean, maybe the formulas are fabulous, but the whole marketing of it is all BS. And that, my friend, was What's Up in Makeup this week. Thank you so much for watching. Like I mentioned, we are going to have the product report in a couple of days. Some people ask me why I do top news before the product report, because top news was ready and the product report is not. And this script is already 10 pages long, and I haven't even typed up a lot of the things I want to share with you for the product report. So that will be coming. I'm going to work on it. We did this before, and actually a lot of people seem to like it, so I don't hate that we're doing it again today. Chat today is going to be at 5 p.m. Eastern time. I do have a market this morning, so I will not be here during the 10 a.m. slot, so we will be here at 5 p.m. hanging out, talking about makeup, talking about my hair maybe, I don't know. But we will be here, so hopefully you can join us. If you cannot make it, it is no problem at all. It should be very easy to find on the replay. If you are subscribed, you should be able to just go to your subscription feed. It should be right there, but if you are not subscribed, YouTube has created another hoop for you to jump through to find live chat. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna go to my channel page, you're gonna click on my videos, but it's not listed. Live chat isn't listed with my other videos anymore. It is listed specifically under a live chat tab. They have now separated things out, so you have your shorts in one place, your videos in another place, your live streams in another place, so you have to click on the live chat tab or the live streaming tab in order to find live chat from now on. But what's good about that is you can find all of my live chats in one place, very easy to watch. But again, if you're subscribed, you just need to click on your subscription feed. It'll be right there. So it is a little bit easier if you are subscribed. With that being said, thank you again so much for watching. If you would like to hang out just a little bit longer, YouTube should be recommending a couple videos for you right over here to watch, including the last episode of What's Up in Makeup, which should be right down there. YouTube picked the top one. But if you do need to go, it is absolutely no problem at all. Thank you for hanging out as long as you did. Happy 2023. I look forward to seeing you again next week, and before that, the What's Up in Makeup product report coming later this week. Mad love to you. I will see you in a video very soon.